Hi, my name's Ivor Hilman. I'm from Rawmarsh in Rotherham. I'm a professional entertainer and I've lived in Rotherham, well, most of my life, and I'm 60 years old. The one thing that I've missed being in lockdown is obviously I've missed my family. I've got two sons and their wives, and I've got three lovely grandchildren, and I think the hardest thing that I've had to really put up with is missing, especially the first 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks. It was really hard not seeing the grandkids. When lockdown's over, the first thing I'm going to do is probably just have a big sigh of relief, a sigh that just says, thank God that it's all over with. Thank God that we can all go back to normal and live a normal life. And that's going to be one of the biggest sighs I'll ever do in my life. The things that have surprised me about the community is a bit, I don't know if it's disheartening, but I think the community spirit in general, from when I was a lad, is not as prevalent. And the only really thing that people were doing community-wise, where I live especially, is coming out on a Thursday night and banging pots and clapping for the NHS. Other than that, I'm not really seeing a lot of community spirit, because how can you see a lot of community spirit when most of the time you're locked up? Well, you're locked in. Locked up sounds like you're in prison, but you're locked in. How have I coped with the entertainment industry being shut down? It's been really hard. As I said, I've been singing since I was 20 and I'm 60 now. I started off in new romantic bands, we had records out and that, and then I started working in the clubs and pubs to pay a mortgage. And for the last 16, 17 weeks, I've not stood on a stage and not seen any of my friends from the entertainment world. And to be fair, I found it harder than I thought I would. I've missed 17 Saturdays gigging, and believe it or not, in 40 years or 30 years, I only ever missed 6 in 30 years. I missed out on a lot of the kids being brought up. I looked after them because the wife went to work, but I missed out a lot being an entertainer, because on Christmas Day it was always hard that you had to leave them once they were playing with the toys and go and work to basically pay your mortgage. What lesson have I learnt during this period? It's that friend-wise, I would say friend-wise, you realise who your real friends are, and you realise the ones that go missing in action. And for the future generation, if I could give them any advice, it would be to keep in contact with friends, especially in times when times are hard, because you never know when you're going to need that friend. So I would definitely say keep in contact, make sure you're always at the end of the phone for somebody, and just generally try to be nice. Just try to be nice. What have I learnt about myself during this 17-week period? I've always been a moody type of person. I've always been up or down. I've probably learnt a lot about myself is that probably I'm a bit darker than I actually thought I were. When I say I'm a bit darker, I think I've learnt a lot more about myself, in the sense that I probably worried more than I actually thought I worried. And at the beginning of this lockdown, I really did worry, thinking, could I survive with no money? And luckily, we got through it all, or we have got through it so far. But about myself, what have I learnt? I've just learned to probably think about others a lot more than I probably did do. During lockdown, I've had to, well, through boredom more than anything, I've gone back through my old My Pair of Dolls stuff, and I've started singing a few of them tracks and videoing them. I've wrote a few songs, a few lyrics out on that. I've also had to try remembering the songs that I sing in the act, Echo Beach, but during lockdown, I mean, it's actually been quite productive and creative. There's a company in Spain, a Spanish record company, that are going to fetch out a limited edition album of the best of My Piero Doll stuff, so that's a good thing. I've also been, just before lockdown, to one or two auditions for television programmes, but as soon as lockdown came into force, they were shelved. And I've done one or two Zoom auditions for TV that wasn't very successful. I've obviously not got a face for TV, more a face for radio. Finally, how do I think we could do better as a society and for a community than we already have done? I think the thing is, I think we all these days shut ourselves away and within just one little bubble of self. And it's only when times like this that you realise that you need the community and you need the community spirit. And being from Yorkshire, being a northern lad, being from Rotherham, I've always felt that the community spirit, in a sense, is there, but it's there if you go searching for it. I find that it's not there, it doesn't come to you, and I'm guilty as anybody else, and we all are. I mean, I've got a neighbour next door to me and since lockdown I've not seen her at all. Now, what would have stopped me from going, knocking on the door and saying, "Are you all right?" But it's one of them things you think, well, their family's good in visiting them and that, and they were shielding anyway. But you need communities. You need communities to pull together. And I found, having done a lot of charity events, when I needed the people of Rotherham to come together, I found that they all will come together and they all will help you. So we have got a community, but I think the point is you've got to search for it and you've got to embrace it, and you've got to, even if you don't want to, sometimes you've just got to ask for help. Thank you. Bye.